what we're going to do, you guys, is we are going to cook one recipe, prep for 5 meals total. And everyone is going to have access to a PDF cookbook that has the recipes, the grocery list, the instructions, everything in here. So don't worry, after this, I will make sure everybody gets this, okay? Now, it's a PDF, so I like to send it via email. So if I don't have your email, if you can shoot me a message in Messenger and send me your email, that's going to be really helpful, okay? So a couple of things I want you guys to be thinking about when and if you decide to meal prep weekly. It saves a ton of time and a ton of money, in my opinion. I do it myself. A couple of things you really want to think about having in your home always is freezer bags, or I use my resealable bags because they're easy. You put them in the dishwasher. You don't have to buy bags over and over again. And a stocked pantry. And so I put in the PDF cookbook things that are good to have in a stocked pantry. So you guys will have access to all of that. And I hope that this really, really helps you in a pinch and trying to be on track with healthy eating, but being in a hurry like we all are, okay? So the first thing I like to do when I'm meal prepping is I take everything out and I just get my vegetables ready. So I'll wash like peppers and onions or whatever vegetables I'm going to be using. I'll get my chicken all chopped up for all the recipes and put them in freezer bags. And I'm going to show you guys how I do this, okay? So for me, I put all of my prepared meat in my resealable bags, and I put a label on it. So I just have a piece of tape, packing tape, and I put the name of the recipe on it and when the date that I prepared it, so that I know I don't want things in the freezer past 6 months. So I know when I did it, and I can just pull it out and it's easy peasy. So the first thing I like to do is get raw meat out of the way. I don't like to touch it. I don't like to look at it. So I like to get raw meat out of the way. So that's what we're going to do. So before you guys came on, so you didn't have to watch me prep every single piece of chicken, right? I did a big family pack of chicken breast, and I made them into smaller pieces. I'm going to show you how I do that. And I put them in separate bags for each recipe that I'm doing, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how I prep the chicken. So you guys, have you ever seen the chicken that you get at the store? The chicken breast is huge. I mean, nobody needs to eat a piece of chicken this size. So I cut it in half. And then what I do is I put it in close and cut, and I pop it in here. And I do all the chicken all at once. So when you're making a mess, you guys, the key is to make it once and just be done with it, okay? So I'm just going to pop this in here. And so it makes nice cutlet-sized pieces. I really do hate to touch chicken. So, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that again. And so that's how I prepped all the chicken here. Now, I'm going to do a piccata chicken, a chicken piccata, that the chicken was cut into cubes. And so I just took that just like I did and then cut it in cubes and put it in the bag. Okay. And I use a different cutting mat for raw meat. So I'm going to put that over here because all the meat is prepared and I can just get that out of here. So speaking of using different cutting mats for different things, our cutting mats are colored, and to me, that just makes it really easy to not mix up, raw meats with fresh vegetables. So I like to use the green one for my vegetables. I use the red one or the orange one for meat, and it just kind of keeps things clean. And I do the same thing with my knife. So what we're going to do, you guys, because today's recipe that I'm actually cooking is a Jamaican jerk salad with pineapple, grilled pineapple. And so I am going to prep that first so we can start our grill and have that be cooking while we're prepping the rest of the items. So the recipe calls for 2 heads of romaine. And so I like to just take the end off and then cut it down the middle once, turn it, cut it down the middle again, and you have bite-sized pieces. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put that aside, and we're going to get our pineapple ready. We're going to grill for this recipe. So, do you know how to pick a perfect pineapple? Anyone? Okay, so it's funny because I do online grocery shopping, so somebody else picked this for me. So I don't think this is a very ripe pineapple. But in general, when you have your middle leaves, if you can pluck it really, really easily out of the middle, it should be nice and ready for you. A yellow bottom is good too. So look for the yellow bottom and look to pluck out the centerpiece easily. This isn't so easy, so I'm very interested to see how this pineapple is going to look. So I use my pineapple wedger. So I just take the top and the bottom off. And then I'm going to slice it down the middle. Now, for me, you guys, this recipe, I only need half of a pineapple. I don't need a full pineapple. So I'm going to take half and put it aside. But what you're going to do, what I do with the pineapple wedger is you just take your pineapple and you put it down. And it likes a rocking motion, just so you know. So you just take it and you give it a rocking motion down, okay? When you get to the bottom, you can put your cover down and then push down, because what you're going to do is you're going to pull the peel out without getting your fingers at all, okay? So I'm going to take that out. I'm going to take this out. You see it just takes the core right out. And then what I'm going to do with this pineapple is I'm just going to cut it into slices for grilling, okay? So there we go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my grill griddle so that we can get our chicken and pineapple started, you guys. So the grill griddle, so it cooks from the top and the bottom at the exact same time, so it cuts your cooking time in half. You can also lay it completely open so that it cooks two separate things on two separate sides. And all I did was put a little olive oil here, and I'm going to just spread that out. And I'm going to go ahead and I am going to turn my grill on to the, let me see, what do I want? I want grill, because I want those grill marks for this recipe. So I'm going to put it on the grill setting, and I put my grill plates in. So we have a panini plate that's just flat. We have waffle plates. We have the grill plates that actually have the ridges. So you get to pick what it is that works for you. And you can do like bacon on one side, pancakes on the other, eggs on one side, you know, sausage on the other. You can do paninis, you can do any kinds of meats. And I think it's a game changer. I love having it. So, all right. So we're going to, with that being said, we're going to just keep this and let that heat up. It's going to tell me when it's heated up and ready for me to put the food on by beeping. Okay. So next thing I'm going to do is I am going to get our spaghetti squash ready. Now, a little tip with spaghetti squash. It can be really hard to cut and get through. So if you just pierce it with a fork and put it in the microwave for 3 minutes, you're going to find that it's easier to work with in general, but this isn't like that easy, but you know, easier in general to work with. This has cooled down, but when it's still a little warm, it's just easier to cut through. So if you've never worked with spaghetti squash, it's really a great replacement for pasta. It's delicious. There's so many things you can do with it. I like to use the scoop loop just to get the seeds out. So you just, it has some like sharp teeth on it, and you can just pull your squash seeds out. And even though I'm not doing this recipe today, you guys, I'm going to prep this, because if you can make one mess, like I said, and you come home, you've had a busy day, and you're saying to yourself, I really don't want to cook dinner tonight. I could just stop at a drive-through or stop somewhere, make things simple for myself, then it's easy to do that. But if you do a little bit of this prepping ahead of time, then you don't have to worry about this. You're going to say, oh, I can throw that dinner together really quick. It's all prepped for me. It's all ready. So I'm going to put this in a freezer bag. I'm not going to do anything with this. It's peeled. I mean, it's cut and the seeds are gone. And now when I go to do my chicken piccata pasta, I do it in spaghetti squash. This is going to be all ready to go. Okay. So the name of the game here is just trying to make your life easier. Okay. That's the name of the game. So, all right. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to start prepping all the vegetables for all of the recipes. So what's going to happen, you guys, is you're going to see that you have, I'm going to give you this booklet. It's going to have your grocery list. It's going to have all the recipes. And so I knew exactly how much of everything I needed and what I need to do with it. So that's how I'm going to prep it. And a couple of things I want to show you, because I literally have people who don't know how to do some of these things. And so I do like to show the best way to prep some vegetables. Okay. So peppers, I like to just cut the top off and pull out the guts. Okay. It's really simple. There are all kinds of tools for this, but to me, that is just the easiest way to do it. Then I just pluck out the little stem and I use the top too. Okay. So that's how I like to do peppers. And then I'm going to show you onions. Just because literally I have had people say to me, I don't know how to peel an onion. So I like to make sure that I show this. So I just take the top and the bottom off and I just score it a little bit and just take the outside section off. And I'm using my prep and store system. So I have a bowl in front to put food in and I have a bowl on the side to put scraps in. So I can put all my peels, my scraps over there. It's super fun because that is one of the tools that is on sale with Pampered Chef right now. Prep tools for healthy eating in the new year. So if you want to check it out, you guys, if you want to know all the specials, all you have to do is say special in the comments and I'll check them later and make sure you get the specials. Okay. So we're going to do the rapid prep, and the rapid prep mandolin is, magic. Okay. So you can slice, you can dice, you can, julienne, you can do French fries. There's so many ways you can cut with this, but it only has a few pieces. Also, it has this protection here, so you can't get your fingers near the blade, which I think is awesome. So I'm going to go ahead. 2 of the onions that I need to be fairly sliced fairly thickly because they're for stir fries and for chicken fajitas. So I like those a little bit on the bigger side. And so this is perfect for fajitas and things like that. Onions in just a few seconds. And that is going to cover my stir fries for this week and my chicken fajitas for this week. Okay. What I like about the prep bowls, you guys, it'll keep your vegetables fresh for the entire week. I promise you that. I do it all the time. I'm looking for my covers. Oh, right here. What's nice is if you have really high water content vegetables or fruits, you can take this strainer and you can put it at the bottom of the bowl. And what will happen when you do that, the food sits up and the liquid drains down. So it doesn't sit in the liquids and ferment faster. The other thing that I love about this is it has the vent for the top. So certain fruits and vegetables need to be vented and have air going through to keep it lasting longer. And you don't have to guess what you need for what. It comes with a guide. The rapid prep and the prep system come with a guide. So you don't have to say, what did I have to do with that? Was this one a ventable one? You know, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so I wasn't listening, you guys. This has been beeping next to me for like the past 2 minutes. So let's go ahead. So now we have our pineapple going in here. I forgot while I was doing the raw chicken, you guys, to season my chicken that we're doing today. So 1 capful of Jamaican jerk seasoning. 1 capful is a tablespoon, just so you know. And then I'm going to just do a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to grab my tongs that I was using already for raw meat. Just giving this a quick stir. And I'm going to pop the chicken on too. So this isn't going to take long at all, you guys, because it's going to cook on the top and the bottom at the exact same time. It's going to be really super fast. You want about 1 pound of chicken, and I did about 2 pounds. So I don't need this much. But I'm going to go ahead and pop that down and click the start button. So when it was beeping at me, it was telling me, hey, this is ready to go. Add your food now. Then you just have to click the start button again, and it's going to do the countdown on its own for 5 minutes. Okay? All right, so I did my onions. I'm going to do my peppers now. Peppers are going to be done exactly the same way as I did the onions. These are for stir fry, so I want them to be fairly big pieces. I'm going to do some green peppers too. These peppers are huge, so I don't need as much as the recipes are calling for because they're really big peppers. That is perfect for my stir fries. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in a container with the strainer at the bottom. This is definitely what I would consider a high water content vegetable. So I don't want it sitting in liquid. So I'm going to put this in with a strainer. Okay, I'm going to pop my lid on, and that can just be out of the way. Okay, so we have our peppers, we have our onions, and so that will cover the stir fry I'm doing. That will cover the chicken fajitas that I'm doing. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the setting on the rapid prep to the dice setting. Okay. Because I need onions diced for a couple of the recipes that I'm doing. This will cut it a different way. So when you do the dice setting, and I actually want that to be a bit thicker. If you guys can see, that's super thin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that a little thicker for the dice setting. And this is going to be for my chicken piccata pasta and for one of the other recipes, but I can't remember which. But I remember I needed half of onion for each. Like any of these recipes, you can still prep for the week doing whatever it is you like. So say that you like salads every day. That's what you eat every day. Go ahead and dice up your cucumber, your tomatoes, your stuff, and store them. Now, you don't want those sitting in liquid. Those are high content veggies again. So you would want it to be on, like these bowls have the strainers, so it's not gonna stick in there. But yeah, so those are my diced onions that I needed as well. And that's about all I need to do with the rapid prep. It calls for cauliflower mash. So you guys, again, on a busy night, it's going to be easy to go through a drive-through if you don't have things already prepped for you, right? So you just want to take your core out, these into florets. And this is going to be put aside as is. I'm not going to do anything with this. But again, on a busy night, I'm going to be thankful that this is all prepped for me. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that in a freezer bag. Key to keeping your vegetables fresh all week is to put it in your crisper. There is a reason that you're supposed to put your veggies in there. It will keep it longer. So be sure to do that. One of the recipes that I'm going to be doing, you guys, on the spaghetti squash. So I'm actually going to go ahead and dice up my artichoke hearts. Simple on those busy nights. You want to try and keep things as simple as possible. You guys see this? I hope you can see how beautiful it is. But I'm actually going to shut this off now. And I'm going to let that rest because otherwise it's going to be really overdone. My son's a chef, and he taught me that you want to take chicken off the heating element at around 155 and then let it rest for another 10 minutes. What's going to happen is it's going to keep cooking, okay? And then it'll get to 165 and it's safe to eat. He said the problem and why chicken breast is always so dry for a lot of people is that they cook it to 165, they take it off the heating element, it rests, and it goes up to like 180, 185. So then it actually ends up getting overcooked. So smart tip. All right, I'm going to prep my mushrooms. You guys, there's a couple of ways I can do this. And I'm going to show you several different tools. You don't have to use a lot of different tools. I can use my rapid prep for my mushrooms if I want to. But I want to show you a couple of different things because there's all different price points depending on what you're looking at. So for mushrooms, cup slicer is great for mushrooms. You just pop it in, you push down, and it fills the cup up. And then you put your bottom back, and it takes everything out of the blade so that you don't have to worry about trying to pick things out of the blade. And then you can just pop it right in here. So easy peasy. It's our simple slice. Now it works like the same way, pretty much the same way as the cup slicer. It's bigger. So depending on the job that you're doing, it likes to rock just like the pineapple wedger. And so you can just put your vegetables, your fruit, whatever you're doing, and you just do a little rocking motion and you do all these mushrooms at one time. Okay, so you guys, we have prepped all of the vegetables for this week, all right? So I'm not sure exactly how long that took, but all of the vegetables are prepped. All of the meat is sliced and diced. And all I do with the meat now, you guys, is I'll put a little tablespoon of olive oil in with the meat and whatever seasoning the recipe calls for, kind of mix that up. And that all goes in the freezer. I have labeled every bag. So what happens is when it freezes with the seasonings and the little bit of olive oil, it infuses with flavor. When you take it out and you let it rest and thaw out, it is so tender and so much flavor. It's really and truly the best way to do it. It's so good. So just to let you guys know that. Now we're just going to put this salad together really, really quickly. So we have our lettuce. I'm going to add black beans. I'm only going to add a half a can. I don't need a whole can of black beans in this. So black beans. Going to add some scallions, just a couple of scallions. This has really great flavor. Okay, so some scallions. Now, if any of these recipes call for scallions, you can go ahead and slice them up ahead of time and also put those aside. Super simple. So scallions all set. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the tops, because, you know, I don't waste the tops of the bell pepper either. And I'm just going to put this in my quick slice. When I sliced it one way, and then I turn it, and I'm going to slice it another way, and now it's diced. So I'm going to pop that in here. And then I have my chicken and my pineapple. These are our tongs, you guys. So you ever get tongs like stuck in your drawers at your house, like everything gets stuck? These, when you point up, they lock. When you point down and squeeze, they open. So point up, lock, point down and squeeze. So really and truly easy for storage. And I like these because they have the silicone tips for nonstick cookware. So I'll take a couple of slices of pineapple, a couple of slices of chicken, and I'm going to slice this all up. I'm going to put this in my salad. And you guys, the dressing is so simple, okay? So the dressing is about 1/3 of a cup of mayonnaise, or if you don't want mayonnaise, go ahead and use Greek yogurt. I'm going to put a little bit of pineapple in there. So a little bit of pineapple, and then I'm going to squeeze in a lime. If you really love lime flavor, which I do, you'll want to zest this too and use some of the zest for the dressing. So I'm going to zest a little bit of this. And I'm going to put the zest in here. It has this little windshield wiper inside that you can get all the zest off the end. Pop that in there, and then I'm going to go ahead and squeeze in my lime juice. So this is our citrus press. You take the citrus, you put it face down, and then you squeeze it in. So I just do one. And that's it, you guys. It's refreshing. It's delicious. It adds so much flavor. And voila, that'll go over the salad. And there you guys saw prepping for 5 meals, cooking 1 meal. And I hope that you got a tip or trick or two that you will try. I am going to stop the recording and everybody can unmute and ask questions.